26 hours, the 26.2-mile race through Kansas City will begin. Actually, Kansas City Marathon starts and ends at Pershing and Grand, and it's actually not. It starts at 7:30 tomorrow morning.
Sloan Heller is in downtown Kansas City at the Health and Fitness Expo. Good morning. What's going on, Sloan?
Good morning, Curtis. Yeah, this is where, starting at 10 o'clock today, runners are going to be able to come by. It's the Hyatt Exhibit Hall, and you can pick up your registration packets and check out. There's all kinds of gear and food and advice from people. And I'm joined now by Dr. Tom Teeter, who is the co-owner of Synergy Health and Fitness. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I want to talk to you about the one thing I know that you see really often in your practice, which is muscle tightness. You work with a lot of runners. And I know there's this huge debate because I'm constantly hearing it. To stretch or not to stretch before you run. What is your advice to runners with regard to stretching?
Well, typically we recommend that you don't stretch before activity, especially running. Most people, when they feel tightness, they've always been told to stretch. And research has shown that stretching before activity actually has an inhibitory effect on the muscle. And so we want those muscles to be capable of producing force when we're going to go out and run, yet when we try to do static stretching before activity, it actually decreases the force output of the muscle, which is going to make you potentially be more likely to get injured or actually make you slower. So one of the things that we typically recommend when you feel tightness or as a pre-warm activity is to do some kind of active or dynamic warm-up, something like doing stationary movements in one position, maybe 4 or 5 different exercises, incorporating something a little bit more ballistic, and then easing your way into your activity. And most of the research has shown about 15 to 20 minutes of activity before running is a sufficient amount to make those tissues prepared for your longer runs.
And quickly, we only have a couple seconds. Running addiction. Quickly, you were telling me something so interesting, the kind of comparison between the addiction you get to running to certain drugs.
Yeah, when you look at the neurochemical physiology of the endorphins that are released with running and some chemical addictions, they're very, very similar. So when we talk about the runner's high, most people are addicted to running because it feels good. And some of those chemical responses in the body are very, very similar. So it's a lot of times when we see runners, it's one of those things where they can't stop running because they feel so good while they're doing it. But a lot of times it may not necessarily be the best thing for them.
Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. We really do appreciate it. Again, race is 7:30 tomorrow morning, and I just found out they're looking at record numbers. 6,000 runners are going to do the half marathon, including our own Lindsay Shively, and there are 1,800 people set to do the full marathon. We're live downtown this morning. Sloan Heller, NBC Action News Today.
All right, and tomorrow morning we'll have live coverage of the Kansas City Marathon starting at 7:25. We'll have live reports all along the route to the history of the race, even profiles of the runners. It's all on your NBC Action News station from 7:25 to 10:30 tomorrow morning.